Hey, it's Grant here. If you're building the Aladdin Models Pacific P16 logging truck, there are a couple of things that I found during this build and I thought I'd share them with you. The first one is the location of the cab. So it's a little bit more complicated than you might think, and if you get things a little bit skew-whiff to start with, it could cause issues later on. So getting that location is important. So I thought I'd show you how to work out the cab location and save yourself a bit of heartache in the long run. So getting to that, let's have a look at the kit and I'll show you what you need to look for. Now, here's what we're going to have a look at is how we locate this cab floor area. And you can see I've done a bit of work putting matting in and some other bits and bobs in there. But what we're going to try and figure out is how far along this goes in relation to here. Because on the kit, you get no guides to where this needs to fit. It will slide back and forwards and you won't know where to go. Now, this is a problem because when you fit this engine in here and then you put this on the top, you've got to get these tubes here, which are the air intakes. You've got to get these fellas lined up and they've got to go out through these tiny little holes, these gaps over here in the cab wall. So they've got to line up down here somewhere and go through those gaps like that, and then the air cleaners go on here. The problem with that is that if you get this in the wrong place, this is not going to align. So the easy way to sort out this alignment is to use the steering rod. So this is the steering rod that runs, this end goes to the chassis, this end goes to the base of the cab, and you'll see there's a little tab under here. So this end ties to that, this end goes on here. This gives you your alignment. So if we fit that on that pin here, and you can see I haven't cleaned it up, it's still got all the support structures still on there. Okay, do this again. I'll zoom when I've got a camera in the way. That goes in there. Right, now what we can do is when we put this on top of here, and then we go under here. You can see why this is fiddly. You hook that on the front one, get on there. Righty, there we go. This one on the back one. And that's clearly where everything's got to go. So what I've done now is I then marked a line on here. You can see my black Sharpie line. That's where the cab needed to fit. Now, to give myself some locating pins, what I did, and I'm going to have to jiggle this free to show you because it's attached. What I did here was I worked out where that needed to be, and I put some plastic card along the front here on both sides so that when that cab front goes on, those two supports under the lights have got somewhere to go, because if it wasn't there, that would be hanging out in thin air, because if you look underneath, there's a gap. So I had to put the plastic card on there, and then I put two little pins. They're just made out of paper clip. They just drilled into there, and they drill into, fit into these pieces of tube. Just a little piece of tube, the same size as that. You can see I filled in my lights, but I've still got to sort those out. But you can see I've just got a little bit of tube in there with a hole, and these sits on those pins. So you line those up, and if I get that right, that sits on there. That lines up with my Sharpie mark at the back. If I sit that there, I can then get this to line up. There we go, fiddly, so that you can see. Oh, go on. There. Bingo. Now we know that when we've got the engine, and we go to get the engine in, and of course now he won't fit because I've got the firewall in place. So I'll jiggle that up a little bit, get my engine in. Sorry, this is not centered. I'm no videographer. And I can get that over the top. Pop that all together. There we go. Now when I get these fellas on, lo and behold, that goes through there, like that. This one here goes on the top. He goes on there, like that. And then, the rest of the parts, in a moment. I'm going to call up. Now, move those forward. I'll spin it around. You can see that I can try and fit these air cleaners. Okay, so this one has got the low hole. So he goes on there, like so. And this one has got the high one. Ay. We'll put them on this end. Yep, maybe we won't. No, I had it around the wrong way, that's why. He goes on here, that goes on there, that goes on. Get your big fat fingers out the way. Like so. Perfect alignment. And if you really want to kick it, where's the bonnet? There it is. Let's put the bonnet on as well. Oops, bump the camera. Sorry guys. There you go. The bonnet fits. Now, you can imagine what would have happened if we didn't have all this in alignment and it wasn't straight, square, and centered, because the engine would have been in the chassis either too far forward or too far back for those tubes to go through there. So that's how you get your cab alignment. And once you've got your cab alignment, everything else just fits. All right? Bingo. Enjoy. Have fun.